Greetings shippers, welcome back, and it's time to tackle a popular trope, one that's actually fairly widespread, and yet you may never have heard of it. Despite this, it has actually made appearances in mainstream media. We're talking about Hanahaki disease, the syndrome of unrequited love. Couple of quick notes before we get started. I did indeed look up the pronunciation, so I'm working through it. Bear with me. And as always, if you haven't already, please do follow on social media so you can stay up to date with all that's coming up next when we stream, which is very sporadic, except on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST. Be there. And of course, we just chat about general fandom things. It's a good time, I swear. So now let's talk about Hanahaki disease, where it comes from, how it originated, and how you may have missed it, or maybe more familiar with it than you think. Also, fair warning, if you're a person who's a little squeamish, or as the kids used to say, are squicked out easily, then this may be one to skip. You have been warned. So first and foremost is, what is Hanahaki disease? This disease is a fictional illness in which the sufferer's feelings of unrequited love for their desired partner manifests itself physically through the vomiting of flowers. Though where the flowers are varies, from growing in the stomach to in the lungs to the heart. Though traditionally, and if one is being more true to the trope's origins, it is the lungs. The disease otherwise has more recognizable attributes, such as chills and fever, but its main feature is the expurging of flowers. This illness manifests specifically when the love is unreturned. So how does one cure Hanahaki disease? For there are indeed cures. The most hopeful of outcomes is for the object of one's affection to come to return their feelings romantically, and it must be romantically. Close friendship will not work in most cases, unless the trope is being tweaked. The friend zone will not save you. The patient may also opt to have their infection surgically removed in some cases. However, that will also result in the loss of those feelings of love, so it is not an option all will choose. Also, it does not match with the more melodramatic appeal that some feel for this trope, which leads to the final outcome. The sufferer may also succumb to their illness and die. So as one can tell based on these descriptions, this trope is very much tied to the angst genre. The trope is often used to explore the pain and frustration and sometimes ultimate hopelessness of one-sided love. The flowers used can also be symbolic, as historically over time flowers have been used to convey a wide array of sentiments and emotions and have even been used to send coded messages. So the flower in question can also have a meaning in the work. While not the hugest trope out there, this trope is by no means uncommon, and yet there are many who have never heard of it, that being in the West. For this is an Eastern trope, which has slowly begun to bridge the gap as the fandoms wherein it manifests become more and more popular in different areas. As a result, it is becoming more and more common in the Western world to encounter this particular trope/tag. Now, this is not to say that this imagery/symbolism has not been utilized in the West, in mainstream media no less, as many can think of instances where they saw a flower burst forth from a person's mouth. However, in these cases, it is more often applied as a horror trope, a manifestation of the process of combustion and decay giving birth to something both natural and unnatural. It is less often a symbol of doomed romance. So how did this trope come about? Well, firstly, the word, which is Japanese in origin, is a fusion of the word hana, which means flower, and hakimasu, which means to throw up. It was most commonly used in relation to BL pairings, more commonly known as yaoi in the West, though that technically is a separate genre in Japan, though as with everything, uses of genre terminology are ever shifting and redefining, and terms used for the same trope/genre will vary depending upon one's location. Terms also can vary in official usage and fandom/fanon usage. An example being how otaku is used as a term of mostly pride in the West, and not so much in Japan where it originated, though there are some who are attempting to reclaim it. Now, this trope is old, and no one seems to be quite certain exactly where it originated or who was the first to use it in this sense, or if it simply evolved out of a combination of mythology and narrative tropes, though perhaps someday the first official use will be identified. However, it was popularized in the manga Hanahaki Otome, which translates to The Girl Who Spits Flowers by Naoko Matsuda, wherein the symptoms were described as strong pain, having flowers blooming in the heart and lungs, and then throwing them up. However, this was in 2009, and the trope had long been employed particularly in South Korea and Japan in fanish circumstances, as well as sometimes in mainstream media, though not in a material as popular as this manga. So this is one of those tropes that exists both officially in the mainstream and in fandom, though there is much more alignment between the two in terms of how it works and is applied, as it appears that the official works have emerged after it was already used in the general fanish sense, or at least after it had already taken root in the cultural mindset. So what can one expect if one dives into this trope? Well, as mentioned, while it can be happy, it often is not. For the more lighthearted fare, one will often encounter an oblivious object of the person's affections caring for the afflicted, only to realize that they were the cause of their friend's illness all along, and a realization of mutual feelings usually follows. When the trope turns sad, it can be perfect for angst lovers, as well as those of melodrama and symbolism who like a bit of old school flair to their narratives, as this disease plays out almost like a dark fairy tale, being overtaken and destroyed from within by something beautiful and gentle. However, it can get gory, as the ultimate end for those who deign to describe it involves the roots taking, well, root in the victim's lungs, shredding them so they die in and drown in their own blood. So where can one find this trope? Well, thanks to the state of tagging systems at the time of this recording, it is quite simple to type the trope name into one's fan site of choice and find a wide array of works, be they fics, art, fan edits, fan videos, films, and more. And for that matter, it makes it easy to exclude as well, if this sounds like something you would want to avoid. As for what fandoms it most commonly occurs in, while it can of course work in any fandom and can be found pretty much anywhere, similar to an ABO soul mark high school, coffee shop, or other prevalent AUs. There are fandoms where it is more likely to encounter this trope. It is decently common in bandom, particularly K-pop, specifically with BTS, though it is applied to other bands, such as 17, EXO, or One Direction in the West. And it is still more likely to encounter it in anime-based fandoms than Western animation or live-action ones, though as mentioned, it is now more common to see it crossing over, and it has appeared in fandoms such as Voltron or Supernatural with more regularity. For those interested in it, it is an intriguing take on the age-old tale of one-sided love, combining HC, angst, the sick fic, and the potential for an either tragic or happy ending, all in one accessible package for those who wish to explore it. So that was Hanahaki disease. Were you aware of it? If so, where did you first encounter it? For me, my first encounter in the Persona 5 fandom, in an Akechi and Akira fic. Do you want to hear more about tropes and trope origins? Do you have a favorite trope? As always, answer the plethora of questions down below, and number them if you can. I'm looking forward to reading all of your answers. Also, yes, some of you may have noticed, this is a Think About It shirt. Think About It is something that we say a decent amount on this channel, and now it is available for you in shirt format, so that you too can get people to think about it. The best thing about it is that people might not even know that it's about shipping, so you can just get people to think about whatever you want. We also have some companion pieces at the moment. We have the Salt Squad and the Thirsty, because especially if you're part of the streams, you know how the chats get salty and thirsty. People couldn't decide which team they wanted to play for, so now you can decide the allegiance for yourself. I'm super excited about this, and thank you so much to the people who have already made some purchases. And please, if you do, post pictures and tag them with Salt Squad, Thirsty, just at me somehow. Hashtag think about it, because I want to think about it. I want to think about everything, always, all the time. Just need to attach this to me. Also, I already managed to get mine dirty because, like some kind of parenting noob, I bought it in cream. What am I doing in my life? All of that aside, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to discuss fandom with me. I always appreciate it. There are, as always, more videos coming soon, and of course, until next time, let's get to the outro. Bye-bye. This has been Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks to all of my patrons' names on the side for helping to make all of these videos possible and helping me stay focused with these monthly video votes. As always, there is much more coming soon, so please stay tuned, for there is many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.